spinning. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi. Hello, and welcome to everyone and anyone that has joined us for lunch today, joining our industry live, where we are staying in our lane and sharing the knowledge from personal experiences as well as our guests' personal experiences. I am ThatKimberly, and this is.
I'm Deborah DeRuin. You've
It's
probably
Deborah.
met me or seen me somewhere before.
Yes. Absolutely. So, Deb, what are we doing today?
All right, we're going to talk to our good friend, Andy. I already butchered your name and I didn't even get to your last name yet. So that's great. Angi Pusateri-Downey with landing.com. She's going to share some insight with us today about getting involved in your local association from a startup level. It's going to be awesome.
Yes.
She's going to be very insightful, be able to give a lot of tips, tricks, just a lot of great information here today from her.
Yes. And we know this topic is one that we could do separately. We know there are ways we could dive deeper, and we're willing to do that. We just wanted to do high level. So if you do have, wherever you're watching from, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, please leave a question. Let us know if there's something else you want us to go further into, because we are trying to make this about a 30-minute or so conversation, but we want it to be educational for the audience and provide you as much knowledge as humanly possible. So like I said, you can either leave a question or share it with someone who has a startup, is thinking getting into their local associations, or someone who's thinking they're wanting to get into multifamily, or watch it on the replay and hit hashtag replay and where you watched it from, as well as wherever you're watching, either follow or subscribe so you can see when we're on next Tuesday. What time?
Yep.
So
every Tuesday.
Yeah. Every Tuesday.
Yay.
So we're going to jump into our conversation. Let us bring on our guest. And Deb, I'm
going to stay in the background a little bit on this one because I am traveling and I have dicey internet. So I'm going to spare everyone, a burn down on live social media and just, pop in
just
here
in
and
case.
there. So
okay. She'll be back.
Chime in when you need to.
So welcome, Angi.
Hi, Kimberly. How are you?
I'm doing great. So tell us at a high level your who, what, where, and when, your elevator speech of all that.
My elevator speech of who I am.
who, what, where, and when.
Yeah, I'm Angi Pusateri-Downey. I've been in the industry a very long time, almost 29 years. I grew up in the Dallas area. My father was really invested and really embedded, if you will, in the apartment industry. And so when I graduated college, I jumped in head first and have been in this industry, making a career of it for the last 29 years. So
yeah.
29
years.
29 years.
So I have to share this. I put this together. Obviously, this picture with your beautiful smile, your black top is, current. And then the picture to the right is in Vegas at an NAA in Vegas of you and I together back when I had really, really short hair. I tell people that all the time. And that was the National Apartment Association or brainstorming. I don't remember, but it was a conference. Yep. And then bottom left, my left, is a golf tournament at the Lubbock Apartment Association.
Yes,
shout out Mr.
Jeff Lowry, one of the Pump Jack girls there at that
hashtag. And then to the right are your beautiful parents, RIP Papa Pusateri at Tarrant County, which is AATC. We could do an episode just on the acronyms of associations alone, but yes. It's definitely where you and I met, and it is very important in our industry. So yeah. I had to show that picture
Thank you for that. The associations are a huge part of, the industry, are a huge part of the connectivity in the industry. And it's really important for, I think from my perspective, in not only participating, but volunteering and being involved in all levels. So I'm excited about the conversation today about talking about, how do you get involved as a startup?
Yeah.
Where do you go? How do you get in? All that good stuff.
So I have to ask this question real fast.
Yeah.
I know you said you've been in 29 years. What year did you go to the bright other supplier side with Rent Debt, the startup that I met you at when I started in 2005. Well, it was 2003 was our R&D, and then 2005 when we really started attending things and hitting the market.
Yeah, I think you and I first met at the Apartment Association of Greater Dallas, AAGD's trade show. You were a couple booths down from my booth, and that was actually my first trade show in 2004 with a supplier company. So I was in property management a little more than 12 years, and then been on this side for a little more than 17 years on the supplier side, the bright side. So
yeah, that's awesome. It is definitely a different world, right? We both know that. Deb and I go back and forth, because Deb started on the site level and is now with a startup as well, One App. But it is the difference in it's different than Night and Day. What would you say a startup should expect from when they come into multifamily?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm currently the National Supplier Council chairman. And so we mentor from an executive council perspective a lot of companies coming into the industry for the first time. Maybe they've come in at the national level, or maybe they've come in at a local level and are growing their portfolios. For me, getting involved in the apartment association allows you to kind of get to know the players in your city or in your region. Understanding who are the decision makers, understanding a little bit about how the business works, what kind of regulations are there, what kind of regulations aren't there. And it allows you to get to know people on a more friendly opportunity, or building rapport by, coming together. And whether it's golf or education, you have the opportunity to utilize your passion to make connections with other people in the industry by participating in an apartment association.
Yeah. A lot of people don't I feel like that was the only way. We knew one person in the DFW area, and we got involved in the AAGD, which is the Apartment Association of Greater Dallas, and AATC, which is Apartment Association of Tarrant County, in the DFW market. And that is where we grew from. And a lot of people don't understand, when you're a member of your one local, you don't have to be a member of all of them, because I know that can be expensive for startups. But if you're a member of one local, it automatically makes you a member of TAA, which makes you a member of NAA. You had mentioned that people can be a member of just NAA at the very top.
Yeah, you have that opportunity through the National Supplier Council to do that. Most associations, or most supplier companies, are members at a local, and that's really the best place to start.
Yeah.
I moved to Florida back in 2015, and really had to kind of start over with my relationships here in the state of Florida. And that's exactly how I built my network out. I got involved at the Bay Area Apartment Association, which is our Tampa Apartment Association. I was really active in the Political Action Committee in Texas, and
which
in
is PAC, everyone.
PAC is the Political Action Committee, which is PAC, which allows us the legislative opportunity to go talk to legislators, educate them on what are the things that impact the industry.
Absolutely.
So I was fortunate to get involved in Florida, in Tampa, and that allowed me to get involved in the state of Florida FAA as well. So
yeah, but you that helped that you were already involved at a national level, so that you could, you already had you did get, I'm sure, some introductions, some help from your, state Florida peeps, right? To help you connect with your local associations in Florida, since you are a Texas girl.
Yes. Well, I think, for me, Kimberly, I think the one thing that people need to remember about the apartment associations is, if you do get involved at the local level, And you get to know who your board members are. A lot of them have websites where they post the pictures of who those folks are, whether it's, Jimmy Chestnut from Encore here in Florida, or maybe it's, Rick Graff from Cushman Wakefield, who's the NAA chairman this year. It allows you the opportunity to understand or really recognize who those folks are. So if you do see them at some of the meetings and some of the events, and yes, we're getting back to that. So that's another benefit and a bonus. We have that opportunity to connect again at a personal level, but you still have the opportunity to recognize a face and recognize a name. So you have that opportunity when you do see them in person to introduce yourself.
Yeah. Going up and being social. Like, I used to tell people that, you were the first person to tell me that, the networking is a part of what we do, the dinners, the association events, I'm not, the drinking, which, of course we're responsible, but it's the networking is as people want to get to know who you are as a person, as well as your company. And it was definitely when I loosened up a little bit and stuck around after whatever the event was, or, attended the social hours of these events, then I saw the needle move.
Yep.
It
I think no matter what I think Kimberly, no matter what business you're in, I think people like to do business with people they know, like, and trust. That's why you continue to go back to some of your local, places, your local restaurants, some of your that type of thing. So if you build that familiarity and you build those rapport with people at the association level, whether it's a local association or it's a state association or it's a national association, you're going to see a lot of the same leadership, volunteer leadership, a lot of same people at those levels. And if you've already established your relationship with them at the local level through your interactions as a volunteer, that will give you more opportunities to network.
Yeah, for sure. What would you say are just a few do's and don'ts when attending, or, my first one, I'm going to say, I have to say this out loud, is lounge, like, what's it called? Lounge. When you don't register for the event, there used to be a term for it, but
there's a suitcasing, which is not allowed.
Correct. But not paying to be there, right? Yeah. And I get it. Everybody, their first year, they're not quite sure, they might attend something under someone else. Okay, the one time, but don't do it. Like, ask around, talk to people if you're not sure, attend one event as a non-sponsor, but don't just always show up and be in the bar or be in the lounge. That's just frustrating to the suppliers.
I think we're talking about a lounge lizard.
Yeah, maybe. What are some other do's? That was my biggest pet peeve. I
think there's a lot of things that you can do, and there's a lot of things that you shouldn't do. And one of the things that you should do is, when you get involved in the apartment association, take advantage of the mentoring program. Take advantage of that opportunity. I know Landing just became a member of AAGD, and we just got an email from their mentor person there at the association. And I apologize, Ken Hold'em, that I don't remember who that person was that emailed me. But they have a mentoring program to take advantage of. That way you get those introductions. You get the introduction on how and what your expectations are being a member of that association. I would say do the same thing at the NAA level for supplier partners, for suppliers out there who are an NSC member. The NAA executive team has built out a very thoughtful mentor program where we can mentor people at the national level to, again, get you connected at the national level and bring you back down, if you will, to the regional level as well. So whether you're a local company or a super regional company or a national company, and you want to grow and you want to learn how to network within your own territories or in your own regions, we have the infrastructure to be able to coach you through that.
Yeah. And I would say most locals do. TA, Texas Apartment Association, absolutely. Even if they don't have a quote unquote program, they're all about retaining, having getting the supplier in as a member and retaining that membership. So connecting with your product service council, whether it's at a local or state level, whoever those people are, you can definitely find a handful of people who are willing to, you know, connect with you, network with you, introduce you to a few people. You know, it's definitely about reaching out and telling someone you want to be involved, because how does the association know that you want to be involved if you don't show up and actually participate? I believe.
I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think the other thing that people need to do when you come into an association is know what your product is. Have your 3-minute, 8-minute, you know, elevator speech together.
60 seconds first, because sometimes we only get 60.
You know, you might not have another opportunity to tell somebody what you do. People in the industry, in the apartment industry, are looking for solutions. Their primary goal is taking care of residents. It's leasing apartments. It's keeping those assets full. So your solution, your product or service should really be a solution for them. So know what that solution is for property management. In order to be able to be more thoughtful about your conversations with the people that you are building a relationship with, and that you are networking with. And that includes suppliers as well. I mean, Kimberly and I have been really good friends for a long time. And she knows my business as well as I know her business. And she's going to be a really good referral for me. Same thing with other suppliers across the country. Don't discount that opportunity to network with other suppliers who might be able to help you with your business, or have like businesses to allow you to have that opportunity to do cross marketing, cross networking, cross referrals. Because again, people like to do business with people they know, like, and trust. And if you can get an approval from somebody within the industry, that's kind of like a seal of approval.
Getting that introduction, and also asking that owner, manager, the person, if they're not the person that they should be talking to, who should you be talking to, right? Like that was always like, do your research. That was something that more than ever, thanks to LinkedIn, or the World Wide Web, whatever you want to call it, right? Like we didn't have that luxury, but we did have the association's resources. Now we have the association resources plus more to find out who in the region is the person you should be talking to, because it might not be Mr. Rick Graff, you know, from Pinnacle / the president of, or the chairman of NAA, I should say, correct? You definitely need to be knowledgeable, because that is something that will really turn off the owner operator, you know, / management folks, because you don't know who they are, you don't know what their assets are, you don't know what their company does, and you don't know what their position is. You know, don't dismiss them either way, but just get to know them and find out, right?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. You've got to understand, for those of you that know the Challenger sales and the Challenger customer book, you've got to know who your folks are. You've got to know, are they an influencer? Are they a motivator? Are they the decision maker? And in the apartment industry, we have a lot of motivators. There are a lot of influencers on the decisions that are being made for management companies, whether it's at the top or whether it's in the middle. There's always an influencer, a property manager, a regional maintenance director, a maintenance director who has come across your product or service that will be your biggest champion inside their own company. So be mindful of who you're talking to, because everybody has an opportunity, whether they are, you know, going to be in a regional role, or maybe they're in a property role today. They could be in a regional role tomorrow. And again, to build out those relationships from the top down, and really capture those influencers within the company to help them make the decision on your product. That's really key, I think.
Yeah, for sure. The taking all that together, right? And making sure that you not only know your product, but you know who you're talking to, who your audience is, and being thoughtful about it is definitely a do, would you say? What is something that makes multifamily confusing? for some?
Oh, that's,
There's a lot.
I think there's a lot that makes it
We'll have
confusing.
another episode.
Seriously,
Conversation.
it can be really complicated. And for those of you that have worked in the industry a long time, it just is a natural thing. I think for most startup companies, they don't really understand the opportunity or the dynamics of a property management company. They think the property is a standalone business. It's not tied to a management company, and it's not tied to an ownership who may have directives on what they can and cannot do. And that I think is one of the biggest things that I've seen a lot of new companies that have come into the industry that get tripped up on.
Yeah.
I think the other piece to that is that can be very complicated is the rules and regulations within the real estate.
Yeah.
What are the fair housing rules? Do they differ per state? Do they differ for each city? I mean, there's a lot of different things out there. Fair housing, ADA, there's compliance, there's affordable housing. And I think one of the ways you can get ahead of that and jump into, the apartment industry head first is taking a supplier success course. It kind of gives you an overview. I would say a 29-year overview of what the industry is all about to give you the understanding that a property may or may not be able to make a decision to buy your product or service. They have to go to an owner. They have to go to a property management company. They have to go to some different levels.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what gets people tripped up is the layers of the influencers, motivators, and decision makers that are involved in a buying decision.
The difference between owner operated and asset I remember the conversation I had with someone at Lincoln Property, and I asked, can I get all your properties? Can you make the recommendation? And they explained to me, no, we only own 20%, or back then it was 20%. They own, I'm sure, a lot more. I can give you give you the recommendation to the 20%, but the rest we have to get owner approval. Like I had someone explain that to me, and then I went and I dissected the management companies from there, right? Like who is owner operated, like the Camdens of the world, the Gables, the Post isn't around anymore, but places like companies like that, right? As opposed to the Lincolns and the Pinnacles or Cushman and Wake. I'm sorry, my apologies. But
you have to ask questions. And I think, for the biggest challenge or the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway I would say is make sure you are asking questions. Make sure that you are understanding that, a no may not necessarily be a no for that specific property, but it may be a yes for the portfolio.
Yeah.
With occupancies high, with markets tight, with those types of things in place today, your product or service may not be relevant to what's happening on the property right this very minute in this space and time. However, it might be, relevant in the next couple months when things slow down and occupancies drop a little bit, and you have that opportunity to provide a solution, to provide that service to a property management company to help them drive that occupancy up higher.
Yeah, for sure. It is definitely educate yourself, ask questions, use
mentor,
LinkedIn,
find a mentor,
find some friends in the multifamily business. There are lots of them. Here's a great question. Well, first off, thank you, Laura C, Tracy H, Laura L, for joining us, and many others who have not said hello, but we know that they're out there. But Paul's question, what do you consider to be the most competitive app tech product / service right now? Ooh. Jeez.
I think it's got to be all of it.
Smart home, payment, CRM. Jeez. That might have to be an episode all on its own.
Yeah, Paul, there's so many. I mean, great question. First of all, thank you for asking of us of that. I would say all of it, because technology has really impacted. Really, the pandemic has thrown so many management companies into the middle of technology. There are folks that just are still trying to figure it out, still trying to understand what technology solution is best for their portfolio. So, smart home technology, absolutely. CRMs to manage and track and take care of your residents, absolutely. I mean, they're all such huge technology. I mean,
they're evolving. They're evolving every day. Like I remember when we took the technology of reserving online from the airline industry, right? And shout out to old Vaultware, the Mike Squareds of the world, Mueller and Cornell, that people said, oh, nobody's ever going to want to reserve their place without ever seeing it, right? Like I remember those days before social media, before people really knew that they had to have a website. So technology is forever evolving. They want to make it, the residents want the convenience. So
even online signatures, online leases. I mean, that really management companies didn't really embrace that, wrap their arms around it fully until the pandemic came around, when we had to come up with some different solutions for that. And I mean, that is something that people have been toying with and playing with and implementing for years, but it was like everything is front and center now, and that was something that needed to be done. So,
well, to answer Paul's question, there are so many that we're gonna have to come back to that, maybe pick a couple and just give high level of here's what it does, go check it out, right? Because without us being the actual user, I can tell you as a person who does use smart home technology, I can tell you what I use and why I like it, but it doesn't mean it's the best, right? And it's for one apartment home or one house. It's not necessarily for a whole apartment community. So I do appreciate having online payments, so I can tell you which one I use, but everybody, you have to figure out what integrates best with your software, your on-site staff, because
what meets the needs of your portfolio. Every portfolio is different. So
100%. Every portfolio is different.
Every portfolio is different.
Yeah, that's going to answer the question due to time on what startups should consider.
There's so many different options out there, and there's so many different priorities, and talking to management companies for so many years, everybody's got a different priority. When I worked for a collections agency, there were priorities for every management company out there had a different philosophy on bad debt collections. So everybody has a different focus. And everybody has a different priority as far as technology goes.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And with their actual residents, depending on whether it's, affordable student housing, conventional, senior living, right? Like, so they have to consider their residents. Not every resident, even though I love, I'm going to do a shout out to residential waste, door-to-door trash pickup service. I love that humidity. And I'm always appreciative when I have it. But there's some communities that don't get it, right? Or they don't offer it, or their residents won't pay for it. But it is something that makes the community money, and that some residents are willing, I would say majority of residents, there's been research done that majority of residents would pay for it. So it is, it's who their actual occupant, who the apartment renter is in their community.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
So, and speaking of, we're going to transition to this. The startup you're with now. Well, they've been around a couple years, but Landing. Tell a little bit about Landing, because they're definitely it's up and coming concept that if I didn't have to consider my mom, we would be all over that, right?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for the opportunity to talk about Landing. Landing is a unique service that actually matches members. We have a paid membership base that is looking for flexible housing across the country. We deal with digital nomads. We deal with empty nesters. We deal with a lot of different career commuters, if you will, consultants, medical teams. We have some actors and actresses that live with us as well. But it is a concept where a resident actually pays a membership fee to be a part of this flexible leasing opportunity. I know so many management companies are doing 12-month leases. They don't do anything less than that without, specific requirements and that type of thing. Our service actually, not only do we have the flexibility for our members to move about our network, but we have the opportunity for our members to take advantage of some concierge type services as well. We set up all the utilities. We, can schedule cleanings. We can do all of that for that person. It's a one-stop shop for a turnkey, fully furnished move-in. So it's a really cool concept that I think meets the consumer where they're at. So many things have changed because of the pandemic, because of technology. People can live wherever they want to live and still work remotely. So it makes it a really easy opportunity for us to fulfill that need for folks.
Yes, and I know that it was talked about. There was a panel, and I'm going to go do the research. I keep saying that the next generation, I don't know whether it's the millennial, the Y or the Z, they don't want to own a home. They want to adventure. They want to move around. They want to change up their living areas, every so often, 6 months. They definitely don't want that 12-month, commitment.
Yep. So, I have older kids, and they want to experience life. They want to experience, what it is to live in different cities. And, I think a lot of folks today, my previous company, we had some developers that, kind of moved around the country. They wanted to experience different cities. And again, with remote work, with technology, with the internet, with, web services, WeWork spaces, those types of things, people have that advantage to be asset light, where they're not putting all of their financial responsibilities into a home or into something that is not flexible like they want to be flexible. So it really gives an opportunity for renters by choice to have that flexibility to move and go where their grandkids are, or go where their family is, or go where their friends are, and experience things.
Yeah, the experience is the number one. I love. I'm a double agent by choice, and it definitely is something that I look forward to, except for it's 12 months, right? And it different neighborhoods, not necessarily different cities.
Yes, I've been a part of your moving parties. I've been a packer. I've been
unpacking parties. I hire movers, and then I have my girlfriends come over, guy friends, and we unpack and eat and drink, and my house gets unpacked. My apartment gets unpacked in one foul swoop.
Maybe you've been able to experience things, and I think that's the way folks are going today. That's the way the millennials, the kids today. I think that's just going to be a part of our lifestyle going forward. It's going to be that type of lifestyle.
100%. I do love the concept very much. So,
well, thank you.
Good for you guys.
I've enjoyed working here. It's been fantastic to take this concept back out to the apartment industry and really show them, consumers, have a wide variety of choices today, and for landing to be an option for management companies, I think it's been extraordinary for us.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Well, tell folks how they can connect with you, or, whether it's via social, or they want to learn more about NAA, NSC, landing.
Any of that.
Any of it. Tell us.
Any of that. You guys can connect with me on LinkedIn. Of course, I'm on LinkedIn. If you're a National Supplier Council member, you can jump on the NSC page that we have there on LinkedIn as well. My email address is Angi@hellolanding.com.
That's easy.
Pretty easy.
I'll put in some of the show notes wherever I can.
Perfect. But I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I have a dog that talks to everybody, so he's got his own
on Instagram. I love it.
Yeah, he's got his own Instagram. So
yes,
you can find me on social media. I'm open and available to answer any questions that you have. Connect you to some mentors, get you connected in the right ways. So happy to help in any way I can.
Awesome. And we appreciate that. We appreciate you. It is definitely needed. We want to see more people, startups consider multifamily because it is definitely its own little, I feel, island, maybe not. I don't know. There we go. See? Angi.
No, just ANGI. No E.
Yeah.
Like the new Angie's List. ANGI.
No E, everyone.
No E, everyone. Yeah.
So it is definitely something here. Let's remove that one. How do I remove that? Where did you put that one? Let me go up here. Oh, there. We'll just cover that up.
There we go.
We will definitely be putting all her information in the show notes, or you can email Deb or myself so we can send you her information if you can't find it. It's really easy. Again, we want to answer any questions. If you guys watch this on the replay, put in your question with a hashtag replay and maybe where you watched it from. Because we know that this topic and subject alone, we could go another 30 minutes. So we will be dividing up Paul's question. We're not going to forget about it. The goal of this whole series is to make it educational for the audience that wants to learn more about how to, get involved in multifamily, whether it's business, professional. If they're already in multifamily, how do you grow in your
how do you make a career in this? I mean, people like you said, Kimberly, people don't know about it, and you can make a very good living, have a professional career in helping people with homes. And
yeah,
it's an
absolutely.
extraordinary opportunity.
Yes, 100%. And I feel very lucky that I kind of ended up in the industry, because I was the renter that wanted to make it different. I wanted people to be able to search differently for apartment communities. And that's just led me down that path. And that's a whole other, even the budgets for startups, I tell people, you can never expect, you always make sure you got money raised and that you're ready to, budget marketing and networking and associations and all the other things that a lot of people don't think about, right? So
find a mentor at the state, local, and national apartment association can really help you get connected a lot quicker, a lot faster, and help you navigate those crazy waters of regulations in the industry as well.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. So thank you everyone again. Hey Jeff, thanks for joining us. We're going to bring Deb back on so she can say her goodbyes.
Bye.
And we will be here next Tuesday, everyone. So please join us. And again, if you have a question, you got a comment, leave it. We'll get to it. And if you want to be on, email us. We want to have you on. We want everyone to share we want this to be inclusive, not exclusive.
So, yes, we do. Thank you. Thank you so much, Angie. And sorry I butchered, your name.
Oh, that's all right, girl. No worries. Everybody does it.
Everybody knows Angie.
We'll leave in the show notes for sure.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you for the opportunity, y'all. I'm so passionate about the industry. This is just phenomenal. So thank you for doing this for everybody.
This is really hard for me not to have a good internet connection because I had so much to say and I wanted to chime in so much. But
we'll do another one.
We'll do another one. It'll be great.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you guys. Have a great one. Take care. Bye.